Hello folks and welcome to Bards and Books. I'm Usman and today we are talking about my top books slash series that I read. The current standing for 2023, what's at the top? I got 5 series here, books and series that have made the cut. But considering my first year on Booktube, my first year doing this, I have read way more than I could have ever imagined in a single year. So this has been awesome, and the support, the community, obviously I love it all. I'm thankful for all of you. Made some awesome friends on here, and yeah, looking forward to reading a whole lot more and making a lot more connections in the coming years. So we'll get down to it. This year I read roughly 40, maybe a little over 40 books. Like I said, just more than I ever could have thought possible for me. So let's just get to the list. I got 5 here that have made the cut. I have 2 honorable mentions to get through first, so why don't we just start with that. The first honorable mention is Mistland, Book of the Fallen. Now, I am currently 2.5 books in. I'm just in the middle of the 3rd book right now, Memories of Ice, about halfway through, and it's shaping up to be an absolutely epic series. I mean, just stellar world building. The prose, Erickson's prose, so beautiful. I'm loving everything about this series, and if it continues, we'll see how it wraps up. We'll see how the other books are. But so far, 3 books in, I had to mention it. So Malazan is the first honorable mention. The second is Discworld by Terry Pratchett. Now, I'm only 2 books in for Discworld. I've read the first 2, The Color of Magic and The Light Fantastic. Apparently, this is the weak start point of the series. It gets a lot better. So, if that's the case, yeah, this absolutely is viable to be one of my top series of all time as well. But I have to wait. I have to get through more. Just the first 2 isn't enough. I'm really excited for the City Watch series. Guards, I've heard, is phenomenal, as well as many others. So, still too early to solidify this in the list, but I had to mention it. I had to give it a shout out. So, those are my honorable mentions. Let's start with number 5. On number 5 on this list is 11th Cycle. This is a grimdark book, a grimdark series. The series is called Mistland. And only book 1 has come out so far, so 11th Cycle, talk about brutal, talk about brutality, talk about just the darker side of humanity and events. I mean, some really cool world building here. It's got that Dark Souls vibe, that very eldritch kind of vibe in terms of the pantheon and a lot of the elements here. So very, very cool. Kian Ardalon, who's the author, just came out with this year, this book, so a lot more to come. I'm very excited for the next book, but as of right now, Mistland is number 5 on my list. Again, keep in mind this is my first year on Booktube, my first year really buckling down and reading with a vengeance, you can say. So, this list might even get expanded in the future. Who knows? Maybe next year it'll be a top 10 list. We'll see how the second book goes, but let's get to the number 4 on my list is Dungeon Crawler Carl. This is a lit RPG series by Matt Dinniman. I'm sure many people have heard of it, but again, I've been doing this on audiobook. This is one of the only kind of subgenres, lit RPG, that works for me on audiobook, so the audiobook narration is fantastic. Jeff Hayes does a fantastic job. If you're gonna get into Dungeon Crawler Carl, I definitely recommend the audiobooks. But yeah, the progression here, the story, the plot is fantastic. I love the humor mixed with the darker elements. Like I said, I like a lot of dark stuff, but I love how the humor is written into this. It is sort of like an apocalyptic kind of leveling up thing, but it doesn't feel like it at all. There's no grinding and leveling up and facing boss. There is that, but it doesn't focus on that, this story. It doesn't focus on the whole progression aspect. It is very much a very complex story with gray characters, just very interesting elements, very unique elements that are introduced for a lit RPG. It's like nothing I've come across. Keep in mind I haven't dived into a whole lot of lit RPG. From what I have, this series is very unique. It very much stands out. So Dungeon Crawler Carl is absolutely number 4 on this list. Now I'm only 3 books in, and there are 3 more books that I have to go through. The series isn't finished yet, so you know, anything is possible. Who knows? Maybe it'll drop down the list, maybe it'll come up the list more. Anything can happen, but I had to include it as number 4 because I love it that much. So for number 3 on this list, that is the Hybrid Helix series by J.C.M. Byrne. If you like superheroes, if you like sci-fi mixed with fantasy, this series is absolutely perfect. I love the main character. I love following her around on these adventures. The universe building, because it is very much universe building, absolutely stellar. The history of these characters, the species, the cultures, and talk about the humor. Like, if humor's a big thing for you, we got witty characters here, we got some snappy humor, some just very laugh out loud funny moments. I think Byrne has done an amazing job crafting these stories, and it's so addicting. Like, there are 4 books out currently. We got Wistful Ascending, we got Return of the Griffin, Blood Reunion, and Shadow of Hyperion. The series just keeps getting better and better. I mean, Byrne's doing fantastic, so very excited to continue with that. I can't wait for the next one, and absolutely that deserves the number 3 spot on this list. Now, for number 2, that is Rena by Carl Forshaw. This is book 1 in Luna Ruinum. You may have heard me speak about this, you know, in other videos and stuff, but Rena was my top read of the year. If you're talking about books published in 2023 this year, Rena was absolutely my number 1 pick. It's dark fantasy mixed with mystery, mixed with horror. It's very much a blend of many things. It's hard to really categorize, but definitely dark fantasy vibes here. The world building is so superb. Very unique, very just beautiful world building. I mentioned in a previous video that every aspect of this book, of this story, is just as beautiful as the cover. And if you've seen the cover, well, I'm going to include a picture of it, but the cover is gorgeous, and everything about this book is gorgeous. So I am so looking forward to the next book in the Luna Ruinum series. Should come out for 2024. I'm hoping it does. But yeah, absolutely stellar book here. Rena is definitely a must-read if you enjoy dark fantasy or you know, a strong mystery in your reads. As well as a fair bit of thinking going on. You know, the reader needs much acuity going into this. Forshaw doesn't hold your hand, he doesn't force feed you information, so it requires a little more brain power, but you know, that's something I love, and just a phenomenal job overall. So anyways, that is number 2 on the list. Now, my number 1 series that I read in 2023, and at the top of the list so far, if you've been following me for a while, you should know what this is. This is the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. Where do I start? Characters, Abercrombie's, everything. First of all, everything about this series is just perfect for me. The character work is phenomenal. You know, that's what he's known for, and it definitely holds up. Me being a character-driven reader, I loved it. His prose are beautiful, so easy to get through, and yet so thought-provoking. You know, it gives you that time to kind of marinate in your mind and think about things and appreciate the writing. The plotting is just, the plotting and the pacing just go hand in hand, and they're just perfect, evenly paced. The plotting never gets bogged down, never gets tedious, you know, never gets boring, none of that. Phenomenal stuff there. The world building, I enjoyed it so much. I wanted more. Like I mentioned in a previous video that I could have read like an entire history book of Abercrombie's world here. It's that fascinating. So absolutely, First Law is number 1 on my list, and As for 2024, I am so looking forward to diving into the standalones and the follow-up trilogy. You know, I've heard it's all amazing, and I'm so eager and excited to get to it. Those are my top 5 books and series currently standing for 2023. You know, anything's possible 2024. This list may expand, it may stay the same. You know, there might be a lot of changes, there might not be a lot, but I plan on doing a ton more reading in 2024. This has been a phenomenal first year. I'm looking forward to so much more. And I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and supporting me in any way. So if you enjoyed this video, you can like it and subscribe to the channel, as I'll be getting a lot more absolutely grimdark series. I might be prioritizing that a lot more because that seems to be the stuff that I'm gravitating towards. You know, a lot of grimdark series coming up. I got Gunmetal Gods. I got to get to that series. I got to finish up Malazan. That's more dark fantasy, but dark fantasy, grimdark, that's what I'll be leaning towards. Not entirely, but I might focus on that a little more in 2024. So anyways, enough rambling. That's my list. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, see you later.